Well, we have reached the fourth day of the Passion Week. And what's really interesting when we look at this Passion Week is that there's really no records of what Jesus did on this day. So scholars have went as far to say that they think that Jesus didn't do anything on the Wednesday before he died. And what he actually practiced was a Sabbath. So while some will call this Holy Wednesday, others have even called it a Sabbath Wednesday. So what a lot of churches have done throughout history is that they've canceled all kind of Wednesday night services, whether that was a Wednesday night prayer meeting or church service or youth group, whatever it is, the church decided they were going to shut everything down and promote a day of rest. And so that's really what I wanted to talk about in today's devotional is this idea of a day of rest. I think that we just live in a world that is constantly telling us to go, 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 go. I mean, think about it, even in the terms of being a high schooler or a middle schooler, we think we have to get a job as soon as we possibly can. And when we get that job, we have to work whenever our boss says. So if our boss says that we're working 7 days, 24 hours, or whatever we can fit in there legally, then we're going to do that. And I think that's a really big mistake when it comes to approaching this idea of rest. I mean, we even get it in the story of Genesis when it says that, and on the seventh day, God rested. I mean, God is this all-powerful, perfect being. He is God, and on the seventh day, he rested. See, God practiced this idea of the Sabbath, and a lot of scholars believe that Jesus then also went and practiced this idea of the Sabbath as well on Wednesday. So the question that I want to pose to you is, how are you resting well? We're in a time of quarantine, and while we're busy trying to think, how can we work, what can we do, are we also taking advantage of the time? Are we also understanding that maybe this is the time God has given not just us, but as a nation, as a world, to just press pause, to step on the brake for a second and say, okay, I need to rest. So what does that look like for you to rest today? Maybe it means that you're going to throw on your PJs one day and you're not going to do anything. I mean, you're not going to worry about doing laundry, you're not going to worry about doing the dishes, you're not going to worry about what your job is asking you to do. You are just going to rest and just be with the people that are close to you. I mean, Jesus probably didn't go and rest by himself. He probably brought the disciples with him and they just, relaxed. I don't know if he had a little cabin on the lake or where he was staying, but I can be pretty sure that Jesus chose to not minister to people on this day, to not heal to anyone on this day. So how are you resting today? If Jesus could find the time in his life to rest, and we don't see that Jesus just rested on Holy Wednesday possibly. There are many times throughout his ministry when we find that Jesus just rests. We see that God rests. God commands his people to rest, to obey the Sabbath. So how are you observing the Sabbath? That idea of the Sabbath literally just means to rest. So how are you resting today? We live in a world that would say you would be lazy if you did that, when God says, no, you're just obeying me. So what does this look like for you? To rest in Jesus, to just rest in your life. What does that look like for you today?